Hey guys, welcome to today's demo. I'm going to break this demo apart into three sections. The first will be setting up your file. The second will be importing all the assets. And then the third will be just modifying your typography just to make everything fit into place. And so here's kind of like our example of what our target that we're shooting for. We're going to create a TriFold brochure that has information on the front about a panda, and then it's going to have the San Diego Zoo map on the back. So this is about the San Diego Zoo. I pulled all these assets from the internet, images, logo, as well as copy. So like this is up and coming news or news that has recently passed about the San Diego Zoo. So let's go ahead and get into this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close this file just so you have an idea of what we're actually shooting for. So I'm just going to close that. And I'm going to go new file. So we're in Adobe InDesign, and the application is going to look very similar to Illustrator and Photoshop, but it's going to be a multi-page application. So I'll hit new file, and we're going to set a few of these file presets here. And it's very important that you get all these things correctly done so that your file is set for TriFold brochure. So the first thing I'm going to do is name the file. So we'll call this zoo, and I'll call it TriFold. You can call it whatever you like. I'm just going to do that there because we're able to. Notice here in units, it's set to picas, which is kind of like an obscure unit within design and typography. So I'm going to actually change picas to inches because we're in America and we understand things a little bit better when we see it in inches. Now a standard 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, that's just your regular printer paper, is what we're going to actually convert this brochure into. So we're going to have a tri-fold, so it's going to fold into three pieces, and we'll have all the information on one side and then the map on the back. So understanding that our width will be at 11 and our height at 8.5 is important. And you can see you can change both portrait to landscape orientations there. So we're going to be in landscape orientation. There will be two pages, front and back. We're going to start on page number 1, and then you're going to see columns, your column gutter, and all of the margins have to be set just like you see on the screen right now. So columns will be 3, our gutter will be 0.5 inches, and then our margins will be set to 0.25. If you want, you can pause the video and then just copy these same presets to your screen. Next, I'm going to hit create. Once this happens, I'm going to zoom out, so Alt scroll back on the wheel, and you see I have two separate pages. You can see the 3 columns are put into place. You can see I've got a 1/2 inch gutter between all the columns, and then there's this 1/4 inch margin that goes around the entire document. So that looks good. Everything's looking well so far. If your workspace, the application workspace, doesn't look like this, then I want you to go up to Window, Workspace, and then set it to Essentials Classic. And if it's already set to this and it doesn't look like mine, then go ahead and hit Reset Essentials Classic, and you should get all of these tools available to you, which will be important for the completion of this exercise. Now, if you see to the right here, I've got a bunch of swatches, and these are just preloaded swatches. But if I want to build a color scheme, there's a neat thing that you can do within InDesign where you can actually upload an image, so import an image or place an image, and then you can use the eyedropper to pull a color scheme from that actual image. And so we're going to go ahead and do that right now. So for the assignment, there's a bunch of assets that are posted that you should download, and I'm going to place the San Diego color scheme asset. So I'm going to go File, then I'm going to go to Place. I'm going to see this file that's shared with you guys called San Diego color scheme. I'll click on it and hit Open. Now what you'll notice like right away is that there's a little preview that demos on the actual mouse, and it shows you the actual image that's loaded into the mouse cursor. And I can do two things. So the first one I can do is just click, and it'll actually load in the entire image, and you can see it's like really big. Or if I do Control Z, Control Z, I can also click and drag And when I create this little like bounding box for like where that photo will actually load, it then pre-sizes it or auto sizes it to that actual shape. So I'm just going to do that right now just so you can actually see it. Now, like we can do in any other application like Illustrator or Photoshop, we can sample colors by using our eyedropper. If you notice within the eyedropper tool, there's a special modified version of it, which is the color theme tool. And you'll see right as soon as I click on it, this neat little window pops up, which starts to give me suggestions of like, hey, do you like this color scheme? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my actual image, and by doing that, it should preload or it should sample all the colors within that photograph and then give you some suggestions. So this one's kind of cool. I like this dark color scheme. Let's go ahead and go for that one. And then you'll see there's this little button right next to it. It says add this scheme to swatches. Alt click to add selected color. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on it, and you'll notice right away within my my swatches panel that all these colors pop in there. And get some water. All right, so this is looking good. Once we have our swatches loaded into our swatches panel, we can get rid of this image. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool. I'll click on that image. I'll hit backspace, and it's gone. I don't need it. All I really wanted were the colors, and now I have them, so I'm good to go. Last things that we'll do, I'll probably play with placing one asset, which will be the background map. So let's do that. So on the back image here, or the back page here, I want to place that background map. So let's go File, and then I'll hit, place right here. And I can search for SD Zoo map. So I'm going to click on that one. That's going to be our map. I'll hit Open. Notice again, it preloads a little preview of what that map looks like. And I'm going to go up to the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to click, and I'm going to drag down to my lower right-hand corner. When this happens, you'll notice the map is like actually a little bit bigger than an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I'm going to actually take the bottom edge and drag it up, and that'll kind of like condense the bounding box and just make sure that everything sits, or it looks like it's cropped to the actual picture plane. If I want to adjust it slightly to get into a selection that's complicated, I can use my direct selection tool. I can click on the actual map, and then I can move it around within that bounding box. I like to use my arrows to nudge it around. So right now on the keyboard, I'm just nudging the image up till I can see that word parking at the bottom. Now you can notice right now the image looks super pixelated, and the reason for that is because in view it's not currently set to overprint preview, and that's to help you just like work through actually designing a lot faster without having to render the image at 100%. So if I hit overprint preview right there, you'll see now the image comes in. It's a lot more crisp, doesn't look as pixelated, and so it looks better. So that's going to be fine. We've got our map on the back of the brochure, and then on the front, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to put in 3 rectangles and have each one with a distinct color. So over to the left, you'll see in my tools panel, I've got the rectangle tool. Same hotkey as in Illustrator M. I'll click on it, and you can either click and drag out a rectangle, or I just undid that, or I'm going to go to page 1. I can click just once within that page, and it brings up this dialog box. The width we'll have to do a little bit of math to figure out, but the height we already know. This is 8.5 tall, so let's go 8.5, and then the width will be 11 divided by 3. So if you don't know math, or if you can't do it in your head that quickly, you can just pull out your calculator. So grab your calculator. 11 divided by 3 gives us 3.666 repeating. So I'm going to go ahead and just type that in, 3.6666 throw another 6 in there, no point in celebrating Satan, and then we'll hit OK. So now we've got this rectangle showing up here, and if I don't want to place it by hand, I can always use my alignment tools, align left, align top, and that should sit that thing right in there. Now the only problem is it's transparent. So let's load in a swatch color. So I'll click on my swatches panel. We'll go to my little dark theme. If the dark theme or whatever theme you loaded in is not showing up, you can click the little arrow next to the folder, and then you can pick some colors here. So I'm going to pick this kind of like army green color, and that looks good. Next thing I need to do is make 2 more copies, which I could do Control C, Control V, but I always like to do the Alt click drag function. So I hold Alt on the keyboard. You'll notice my mouse modifies, Alt click and drag. Now I've got another rectangle. I can assign a new color to it. And then lastly, I'll do another Alt click drag to this side, and I'll assign a 3rd color to it. So kind of going for this, like, I don't know, green, blue-green color scheme here. I'm going to move these colors around a little bit, see if I can get, I don't know, a little bit of a nice balance. Maybe this one I'll set to that kind of grayish color. Last thing I'm going to do is just make sure everything's balanced in there. So I'm going to select this middle one and align it in the center. I'll select this one and go to my align right and top. I'm going to turn off my guides real quick, and you can notice that some of these actually have like a black outline. So I'm going to select them. I'm going to click on my stroke and hit no stroke. Click on this white one, no stroke. Click on this green one, no stroke. And Control semicolon will show you your guides, kind of like in Illustrator. In this case, it shows you where all of your borders, your margins, and your gutters are. All right, so this is kind of like our goal. This is what we're shooting for at this point, to get 3 different rectangles. I'm dragging this one down just so you can see it's an off gray or off white. It's not pure white. So I've got 3 different rectangles, 3 distinct colors within my InDesign document, and I've already placed my map in the back, and I've got some cool swatches color schemes that I imported from that earlier asset, the San Diego color schemes. So that's where we're going to stop this demo, part 1 of a part 3 series.